So, UOB made changes again once more, and specifically its interest rates of the UOB 1 account had caused an upset among the people, so much so that some of them wanted to close their account. Are you one of the affected people? Leave your comment down below. What does it have to do with me though? Am I one of those people? To be frank, it doesn't affect me at all. So why did I make this video, Daddy? When this happened, I don't know why, but I had this thought of checking all of their other stuff, including credit cards, just to check if there are any other changes. Then suddenly I received a message from UOB stating that there is a change in the TNC and benefits regarding my Singtel UOB credit card. If you haven't, do check out this video in which I discussed about my credit card lineup for this year. Unfortunately, changes have to be done. This is also part of the reason why this video is made later. So with that, grab a drink, relax. I'm Daddy and this is That Money Compass. So it was really a coincidence that the message came after they announced the change in rates for the UOB 1 account. Even my partner was complaining to me about the revision of the rates yet again. Yes, if I'm not mistaken, this is not the first time they revised the rate, and within a relatively short period of time as well. So I guess that's why people were not very happy about it. But frankly speaking, I don't think people will just ditch it. UOB account is still good in my opinion, and well, it's just a hassle to move it out, right? What surprised me though was the fact that they made changes across their products. Not just the UOB 1 account, but also almost all their credit cards have new changes to them. Well, except a couple of them. These include UOB 1, UOB Singtel UOB, UOB Evolve. Well, disclaimer, the credit cards that I meant here is the cashback credit cards, not the miles credit cards, because for me, as you guys know, if you have watched my videos before, I focus on cashback credit cards. Alright, so I ended up reading a bunch of TNCs belonging to multiple credit cards other than just the UOB account, but they still fall under UOB. Naturally, the first thing I read was UOB Singtel UOB card because I couldn't believe my eyes when I saw it. It was more of like a revamp rather than a change. This card used to reward the cashback based on tier list, alright? Meaning if you pass certain threshold of spending, you will be rewarded with an increasing amount starting from $1, which is the lowest amount. So this card was mainly beneficial if you have to pay Singtel fees. However, its cashback is not the best considering the fact that you can charge them to other cards that provide percentage-based cashback. But I had my reason that I had mentioned in my other video as to why I still use this card. Alright, so you can find this video in my channel to watch if you haven't. Additionally, this card used to be very Singtel centric in my opinion, meaning it's pretty much useless if you want to use it for something else. So the new revamp, in my opinion, it looks like it is done to tackle this issue. It is tried to be made more desirable to be used to spend. So let's look at this existing one, alright? And in order to look at the existing benefits, you have to look at the one under current benefits. Those are the ones that we currently have. And as what I had mentioned, looking at this, it is very obvious that they are just very Singtel centric. Like if you look at this, it's much better to use it to pay Singtel and GoMo. However, when you look at the new one, they make it just like any other credit card with extra Singtel spend benefits. At least that's how I look at it, because they really kind of standardize most of the benefits here to be similar to the other credit cards, and then they just slap like a 12% cashback on Singtel spend. Like, you get what I mean? So that's why it's more of like a typical credit card with extra Singtel spend benefits. So it is more of like a revamp instead of like just a slight change, slight tweak here and there. No, it's actually a total revamp. Why I say so? Let's look at this further. Let's zoom into the new revamp. Qualifying spend. Now there is a cap. They enforce a minimum spending of $800 to qualify for all these juicy double digits cashback percentage, like 12% cashback, 10% cashback, but that is still fine. My concern is this: if you doesn't qualify, you'll only earn 0.3% cashback. Alright, I mean, as per these over here, these two statements that they make it pretty small and I make it bigger for y'all. So yeah, let's just say you used to get $1 for your amount. Right? If it's the new benefit, it will be only 0.3% cashback. So that's like probably less than half of it. Let's take mine for example. Let's say you pay about $56 for the Singtel fee. Alright, and this falls under the first tier, right? The lowest level, the first tier, and you will get automatically $1 cashback. Okay, and then under the new one, that means you will get only 0.3% of it, and that equates $0.17 more or less. Okay, can you imagine like the disparity here, like the difference between $1 and $0.17? That's a pretty huge loss in my opinion. So let's try to look at the benefits as a whole. Okay, I'll just make it here. Alright, I'm not gonna go through every single thing, but as you can see over here, for me personally, these don't look as appealing anymore. Even the list of exclusions, they also look pretty standard here. Alright, look at this, very typical. No utilities, no wire transfer, no single store, no finance staff, no schools, no colleges, no hospitals. Yeah, I mean, this is when I thought to myself, I have to change my lineup again, guys. Again. Even though I only did it like, I believe, quite like in the beginning of this year, I believe. So it has only been like, what, a few months? Especially for Singtel UOB card, I've only used it for like a few months. So, with that said, of course, naturally, I have to look at any other cards first, whether there are any better cards out there. So I look up other credit cards starting from UOB, specifically for UOB 1, and there are a lot of changes, to my surprise. Because I no longer use UOB 1 card, so I no longer receive the message. But for those of you who are still using UOB 1 card, maybe you have received their messages regarding changes, but I have to say there are a lot of changes in which, unfortunately, not working to my favor. I mean, look at this. Okay, let's start from this. First thing first, the minimum spending has been increased to $600. And not only that, the minimum number of transactions also have been increased, guys. From 5 transactions to 10 transactions. Now, this alone already doesn't qualify my criteria. If you're like me who use more than one credit card, I used to kind of game this in a sense. Basically, after I spend like 5 transactions, I just stopped. And I make sure those 5 transactions add up to $500. Yeah, but right now, $600, $100 is pretty, I don't know. If you like to shop, maybe it's a small amount for you. But for me, just not for me. And they increase it to 10 transactions. Well, maybe if you do transport, that can contribute, but to me this just doesn't qualify my criteria. But there's one thing that made me think twice, to be honest. It made me look twice as long at least, which is this one over here: additional cashback on all grocery spend, which is labeled new over there. They added new cashback for grocery spend, and it's like literally all, which is very tempting, right? I mean, look at this. They list it out over here. Groceries, up to 8% cashback for all grocery spent. FairPrice, Giant, Cold Storage, Sheng Siong, even Don Don Donki, and more. Of course, you gotta look at the TNC. For me, I didn't really go through the details at this point. I'll tell you why later in a short while. Because don't get me wrong, as much as they didn't pass my first criteria, UOB 1 card is still a great card over here. I mean, if you can meet its minimum spending consistently, month after month, without missing a single month, UOB 1 card is, in my opinion, is the best. In my opinion, is the best one out there, to be honest. I mean, they give cashback pretty much to all that we indulge on a daily basis, or frequently at least, like McDonald's, Grab, Simply Go, even Shopee, SP Group if you pay your own bills, SPC. Like, what else do you want, guys? I mean, come on. But why am I not including this in my lineup then? In order to qualify for its grocery cashback, you need to hit a minimum of $1,000 spending. That's right. Let me slap it here again. Look at this. For a minimum spend of $600 per month, they put a dash over there, okay? They put a dash. And then only when a minimum spend of $1,000 per month, then you can get some sort of percentage over there. So you have to be careful in this case. So yeah, an immediate out for me. I really kept on missing the lowest minimum spending, guys. Now I need to meet the mid-tier minimum spending. But again, if you can consistently hit the minimum spending, this card is definitely a good one. Can be part of your credit cards, in my opinion, okay? So at this point, I have not much hope because comparing, I think the next closest card to this is, I believe it is, OCBC card. OCBC card, there is one card that kind of comes close, but I still think that UOB one is the winner over here because the minimum spending is lower and it's tier based. So it's pretty good in my opinion because as you hit the higher tier, you get more percentage of that, sweet cashback, right? But if you are like me who has pretty inconsistent hitting rate, I think it's just best if you look at another card which has no minimum spending, because other than, if you keep on missing that 3 months cashback, it's just not worth it in my opinion. So at this point, I really have not much hope. I myself already think, right, UOB one is the best cashback card out there. But then I suddenly remember they have one more card that is worthy. UOB Absolute. No minimum spending, right? So I finally went to check it again and it seems like they are still about the same. Both the 1.7% rate TNC and the 0.3% TNC are still about the same. So it's fortunate for those of you who, just use it for transactions that are outside of their exclusions. It's pretty good because it's 1.7%, the highest so far. But if you like me who use it for like utilities and stuff, because to be honest, back then when they first released UOB Absolute, I definitely use this card for everything, like even their utilities as well. But right now, it's just really hard. So after thinking and rethinking, I still think that the combination of my Amex True Cashback card and my OCBC Infinity is still alright at this point as compared to this one. So this is out. And out of curiosity, I also did a check on UOB Evolve because back then there was a point in time where I actually seriously considering UOB Evolve, and it turns out that they have new changes as well. Look at this. Like they have these new benefits and they call it enhanced benefits, but it's actually a pretty new one, I have to say. It's mostly an enhancement, but unfortunately, it still doesn't meet my needs. Minimum spending $800. Come on, guys, $800. This is one of the reasons why I don't even consider DBS Live Fresh. Because of the minimum spending so freaking high. I understand that they need you to spend so that they can earn, right? And I believe there is a reason why they slap these minimum spending numbers and figures. Otherwise, I think they will be making a loss, right, guys? So that's also why I believe why UOB revamped Singtel UOB credit card as well to make it having minimum spending of $800. I think otherwise they'll be making a loss because you can spend the minimum amount and yet you can still get $1 cashback, which is, I don't know, that's probably part of the reason, but I don't know, it's just speculative at this point. But always remember, folks, you don't adapt to the credit cards. They are just tools to help you, alright? So it means that if you like UOB Evolve benefits, for example, doesn't mean that you have to force yourself to spend $800 per month when your typical spending maybe is just half of it, for example. Don't ever do that. It's not good for your finance, alright? Remember, credit cards are just a tool. You don't adapt credit cards. So now, of course, what is my new lineup now then? I take it seriously when I consider my credit cards, alright guys? I really take hours and even days sometimes, like I have to sleep over it the next day and then rethink again, and if I still haven't come into a conclusion, I'll sleep on the decision again. So I went to check on OCBC and DBS as well in order to ensure that I'm not missing out on anything. But nothing much had changed. Still, the bigger change is still in UOB, so yeah. However though, I did manage to come up with my own conclusion for my new lineup with immediate effect. That's right, the moment I came up with it, I make sure I paid my bills, and then I called UOB customer service to submit a cancellation request. That's right. So yeah, and what are they? Number one, Amex True Cashback as my all-rounder card. Congratulations! Because I still think that this card is really amazing. Their card has the least exclusion, guys, to be honest. And probably the only one that I find it annoying is having Grab top up as one of their exclusions. To be honest, they actually introduced this quite new, relatively new. I think like a couple years ago, few years ago, it's pretty new. And one of the reasons why they introduced this is because obviously people abuse it to top up to Grab, because people like Grab, right? And then you gotta top up your money. And if you can get 1.5% cashback by just topping up, why not, right? It's pretty much you get back your money, right? So yeah, but I don't use Grab a lot. Now there are no cards out there that kind of reward you by topping up, basically Gojek or Grab. So yeah, it doesn't really matter to me. But on a daily basis, I think Amex performs good. Alright, my subscriptions, my bills, my utilities are basically charged on Amex. But if let's say again you can hit the UOB one minimum amount, their cashback percentage is still better in my opinion. Alright, now number two is OCBC Infinity. Its 1.6% is still good for typical spending that qualifies. The rest can be on my Amex card. So yeah, I mean, if I have this card, so of course I'm gonna use it 1.6%, even though it's 0.1% higher, but still, you know, I have it, might as well, right? And then lastly, it is the POSB Everyday card. It's mainly used for my Sheng spending, still the same. I mean, I can't possibly skip on that sweet 5% cashback, right? It's just, I don't know, it's just really good, and I do spend on Sheng quite a lot. So yeah, that's it. I know, they are still the same ones, except I've decided to kick Singtel UOB card out of the team. Alright, so that means I only use these three cards, even though I'm still looking for that one or two cards, you know, try to streamline my lineup, because I don't really like carrying a lot of cards in my wallet. I don't know, I just don't like it. If there's only one card that can rule them all, that would be the best. Alright, so I know that last time I mentioned that using Singtel UOB card is still fine because the difference cashback was still a few cents, but with these new changes, it could go up to $1 or more. So yeah, I decided to just charge my bills to other cards then, you know what I mean? It's too bad for Singtel UOB card. But I do have one thought while I did this research. I feel that if you want a card, again, just one, that can do all for you, a cashback card, alright, not miles card, cashback card, you can just go for UOB one card. I truly believe that this is the one card for all, provided that your spending will already can meet this criteria of minimum spending and number of transactions. But to be honest, number of transactions to me, I think is fine, because especially if you go to office every day, you can easily hit like 10 transactions on top of your food spending, of course. So yeah, and $600 minimum spending is really the lowest in my opinion, as compared to other cashback credit cards that have minimum spending. $600 is really the lowest, even though $500 was the best. But yeah, I still don't understand why they increased it to $600. Anyway, with that, thank you so much again for staying with me until the end. If you like this video, don't forget to like, share and subscribe, as your support means a lot to this channel, alright? And of course, your subscription as well. Okay guys, stay nimble folks, and I'll see you on next one. Bye bye.